The lights just went out. Darkness. Silence. Now what? In 2024 alone, Americans experienced record-breaking blackouts from coast to coast. Over 1 in 4 U.S. households were completely without power at least once in a single year. Our aging grid is failing under extreme weather and soaring demand up 150% more outages since 2015. Regulators warn large swaths of the country face heightened blackout risks this summer. It's not if, but when the next outage strikes. Will your family be prepared or left dangerously unready? This is not a drill. This is reality. 12 life-saving items stand between you and disaster when the power grid goes down. Miss even one, and you'll regret it. From real stories of families caught in the dark to hard 2025 statistics from FEMA and the Red Cross, we're showing you exactly why these 12 items are absolutely essential. Pay attention, because your safety depends on it. 1. Backup power supply, portable generator or power station. A portable gas generator can keep critical appliances running during a prolonged outage. Narrator: when the grid dies, power is king. No electricity means no heat, no fridge, no medical devices, nothing. During the Texas deep freeze of 2021, 4.5 million customers lost power and over 240 people died, many from cold and carbon monoxide. Don't think it can't happen to you. NEARC, the grid regulator, projects that between 2024 and 2028, up to 300 million Americans could face power outages. That's almost the entire country. A backup generator or high-capacity battery power station is a literal lifesaver. Picture this. A brutal summer heat wave knocks out power in Phoenix. Your home turns into an oven. But with a generator, you can run a portable AC or at least a fan and keep your refrigerator going. Without it, your family bakes in 110 degrees Fahrenheit heat, and your food spoils within hours. The FDA says a fridge stays cold only approximately 4 hours without power. In winter, a generator keeps your furnace blower or space heater alive. Without one, you're burning furniture to stay warm. One Oklahoma father learned the hard way. No generator during an ice storm meant his kids shivered through the night, teeth chattering, praying for daylight. Next door, the neighbor's EcoFlow Delta Pro battery station hummed quietly, powering a heater and lights through the darkness. Who do you want to be? There are options. Gasoline, propane generators, like a Generac or Honda, can power your whole house, but must run outside, at least 20 feet away. More on that safety in a second. They guzzle fuel, but deliver big wattage. Newer solar-charged battery generators, like the EcoFlow Delta Pro or Goal Zero Yeti series, are game changers. They store electricity in lithium batteries, run silently with no fumes, and can recharge via solar panels. Yes, they're pricey, but ask yourself, what's the cost of losing an entire freezer of food, or your life-saving medical device shutting down? During Hurricane Maria, parts of Puerto Rico had no power for 328 days, nearly a year. Do you think a generator is a luxury or a necessity now? Exactly. If you get a generator, learn to use it safely. Carbon monoxide kills. The U.S. CPSC warns that portable generators emit CO that can kill in minutes. About 85 Americans die every year this way. We won't let that be you. Never run it indoors. Never in a garage. Not even with the door open. Keep it far from windows. Get a battery-operated CO detector for extra insurance. More on detectors later. And lock your generator up if you can. Desperate people steal them in blackouts. In short, no power backup means you're at the mercy of the blackout. Get a generator or power station now, or you'll regret it when candles and wishful thinking are all you have. 2. Portable chargers and solar backup for electronics. Think a big generator alone covers you? Think again. What about your phone, laptop, or radio when you're on the move or rationing generator fuel? In extended outages, communication is lifeline, but only if your devices stay powered. Imagine day 2 of a blackout. No cell service except the lucky spots. Your phone battery dying while you frantically try to text family. This was reality for Maria in California when rolling blackouts hit in 2025. She hadn't invested in a power bank. By the second night, her phone was dead. She couldn't call 911 or get updates. Total information blackout. I felt completely cut off, helpless, she recalls. Don't let that happen to you. Portable USB power banks and solar chargers are must-haves to keep small electronics alive. We're talking about those brick-sized battery packs, Anchor, Mophie, take your pick, that can recharge phones multiple times. They're cheap and could save your life. Keep a couple charged at all times. And for longer crises, add a foldable solar panel charger to recharge those power banks by day. In Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, some communities were grid down for months. People who had solar phone chargers could at least keep a lifeline to the outside world. Everyone else lined up for hours hoping for a quick charge from a relief center generator. Which scenario do you prefer? A hand-crank charger is another backup. Some emergency radios have USB ports you can crank by hand to get a few % battery on your phone. It's tedious, but in a pinch, a 10-minute crank might let you send that critical text. FEMA and Ready.gov urge having alternative charging methods for your phone because it's often your fastest link to help. When cell towers work, text messages can get through when calls can't, so a charged phone can let you tell loved ones I'm okay, or call for rescue. But only if you planned ahead with charged power banks and perhaps a car charger. Remember, in a blackout, ATM machines won't work, credit cards might not process, and electronic locks could fail. You'll want your phone or tablet to access offline maps, digital documents, or mobile banking records. These small batteries and solar panels mean the difference between being informed and connected or isolated and in the dark. Don't skimp here. Charge all your power banks when storms are forecast. Keep car chargers handy. Your car can be a giant charging station. Just don't run it in a closed garage. The bottom line, portable power for electronics is essential. Your big generator might run out of fuel, but that little solar USB charger will keep soaking up sun. In the next outage, you'll stay connected, while others go dark on social media literally and figuratively. You'll be making the calls, not crying that your phone died when you needed it most. 3. Emergency lighting, flashlights, lanterns, and headlamps. Rechargeable LED lanterns with solar panels provide safe, bright light, far safer than open-flame candles during outages. Pitch black. That's what your home will be at night in a power outage. Think about it. No street lights, no night lights, nothing. Without reliable emergency lighting, you're one stubbed toe away from a serious injury or one candle away from burning your house down. During a massive northeast blackout, one family resorted to a dozen candles for light until they nearly started a house fire when a curtain caught flame. In their panic, they realized they had no fire extinguisher, we'll get to that, and no other light source. Do not be that family. Candles might seem quaint, but they're dangerous. More than 20% of fatal candle fires happen during power outages. People accidentally start fires while trying to see. In fact, U.S. fire departments respond to thousands of candle-related fires every year. Why risk it? Instead, equip yourself with LED flashlights, lanterns, and headlamps, bright, safe, and long-lasting. You want hands-free light? Use a headlamp, Petzl, Black Diamond. Pick your brand. Need to light up a room? Use an LED lantern or even string lights. Modern LED lanterns, battery or rechargeable, can run all night on a charge, and some are solar or crank-powered. Keep a small flashlight in every room and by your bed. When the lights go out at 2 a.m., you don't want to be stumbling through darkness searching for one. I remember a family in Florida during Hurricane Ian's aftermath. The entire block was dark, but their house glowed. Why? They had multiple LED lanterns ready, one in each bedroom, and a big Coleman lantern for the living area. Their kids weren't scared because the living room was lit up enough to play board games. Meanwhile, the neighbors' kids were crying in a pitch-black hall, Mom frantically digging for an old candle. The difference was night and day, literally. Stock up on batteries, lots of them, or get rechargeable ones with a solar charger. If your flashlight takes AA or AAA, have extras. Test your lights periodically. A flashlight with dead batteries is as useful as a rock. Also, consider lanterns that can charge via USB or solar, like the Goal Zero Crush Light or Lucy inflatable solar lanterns. They charge by day, shine by night. Headlamps are fantastic for tasks, freeing your hands to cook or fix a fuse. And don't forget, a flashlight in your car and go bag too. When the grid fails, darkness is more than an inconvenience, it's a threat. Secure reliable lighting now, or you'll literally be left fumbling in the dark. 4. Hand crank radio and communication gear. When a disaster strikes and power and cell networks fail, information is as critical as food or water. How will you know what's happening outside your dark neighborhood? How will you get weather warnings or emergency instructions? In extended outages, an emergency radio is your only connection to the outside world. Take the story of the Thompson family in Louisiana during Hurricane Ida, 2021. Power was out for weeks. Cell towers were down. They had no radio. They sat in silence, cut off, not knowing when help would come or how bad things were. Just 10 miles away, another family rode out the blackout with a hand-crank NOAA weather radio. Every few hours, they'd wind it up and hear official updates from FEMA and the National Weather Service. They knew which areas to avoid, where relief centers were opening for ice and water, and when curfew was in effect. That little radio was their lifeline. The Thompsons? They felt like the last people on Earth, an information black hole. Get a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio, period. FEMA explicitly recommends it. A good emergency radio, look for brands like Midland, Kaito, or Eaton, will receive NOAA weather alerts, AM/FM news, and some even pick up shortwave or police fire frequencies. Many models include built-in flashlights and phone chargers. The key is that it works without needing wall power hand crank, solar panel, or at least a big battery. When your phone has no signal, that radio will still catch the government broadcast telling you where to find shelter or how long the outage might last. It can literally direct you to safety. Consider this. Nearly 80% of major U.S. power outages are weather-related, which often means there's an ongoing storm or disaster. You must know what's coming. Is a second hurricane swing back? Is a wildfire spreading toward you? Only a radio guarantees you'll get that message when other systems are down. A 2023 study even warned that in a massive heat wave blackout in Phoenix, nearly half the population would need emergency medical care. How would authorities communicate that? Through emergency broadcast radio. That's how. Keep your radio accessible and learn the frequencies, your local NOAA station, etc. And don't forget a backup communication plan. Two-way walkie-talkies for your family or neighbors can be gold when phones don't work. Even a whistle, as simple as it sounds, can signal for help if you're trapped. Remember, FEMA's kit list includes a whistle. In a long blackout, information keeps panic at bay. Your radio will cut through the silence with authoritative voices telling you what to do. That knowledge can save your life, so wind it up, tune in, and you won't be alone in the dark. 5. Safe water supply and filtration. A portable water filter like the Life Straw can purify water in a pinch critical if your clean water supply runs out. Water, nowhere. When the power's out, water systems can fail fast. Pumps stop, treatment plants go offline. In winter freezes, pipes burst. In storms, wells get contaminated. If you assume clean water will keep flowing from your tap in a blackout, you're dead wrong. During the 2021 Texas grid disaster, not only did power vanish, water mains burst all over, leaving millions without safe water. People waited in line 4 hours for a case of bottled water. Some even melted snow to flush toilets. So ask yourself now, if the water stops, what's your plan? First, store emergency water. FEMA says at least 1 gallon per person per day for at least 3 days. And honestly, that's bare minimum. Aim for 2 weeks if you can. That's 14 plus gallons per person. It's not excessive. Remember, water isn't just for drinking. It's for cooking and basic sanitation too. Buy sealed water jugs, fill clean containers, or get a 55-gallon drum for home storage. And don't forget your pets. You don't want to be that guy scooping dirty pool water for the dog because you failed to stock up. Real story. After a major East Coast hurricane, Emily found her home without power and water for 5 days. She hadn't stored any water. By day 2, her family was dehydrated and desperate. They resorted to boiling muddy water from a ditch over a charcoal grill just to have something to drink, a risky move that could have made them sick. Contrast that with her neighbor, Mr. Lee, who had 20 gallons stored plus a life straw filter and iodine tablets. He shared clean drinking water with 3 other families until the National Guard arrived with tankers. They called him a hero. He said he was just prepared. Water filtration is your second line of defense. Have a portable water filter, like Life Straw or Sawyer Mini, in case you need to drink from streams or questionable sources. These filters remove bacteria and parasites. Life Straw is literally a straw you can stick into a puddle and suck out clean water. It's saved lives in disaster zones. Also, consider water purification tablets, chlorine or iodine tablets. A small bottle of Aquatabs can purify gallons and gallons. A water boil method works if you can boil water, but that requires fuel and time. Better to have a filter ready. If you rely on well water, remember that your electric pump won't work in an outage. You'll need a generator for it or have stored water. City water can lose pressure or become contaminated during prolonged outages. Boil advisories are common after hurricanes. In any crisis, drink only purified or bottled water to avoid nasty gastrointestinal diseases on top of everything else. Diarrhea from bad water can be life-threatening, especially when medical help is stretched thin. Water is non-negotiable. A human can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. In a blackout, grocery shelves empty within hours, and water is the first thing to go. So fill your tubs when a storm is coming. A device like a water bob turns your bathtub into a 100-gallon emergency tank. Fill jerry cans, use rain barrels, whatever it takes. Because when your neighbors are fighting over the last pallet of bottled water, you'll be secure, hydrating your family from your reserves and filtering more as needed. Preparedness tastes like clean, cool water when everyone else is parched. 6. Non-perishable food and emergency cooking. Hunger doesn't care if the power's out, but your electric stove sure does. How will you cook that rice or heat that soup with no power? And what happens when all the frozen food in your fridge thaws and rots, which starts after about 4 hours with no power? If you don't have a plan for food, an extended outage will turn into a survival situation real fast. Think back to the 2003 Northeast blackout. Millions were without power for days. Folks had block parties grilling meat from freezers before it spoiled. Fun, right? But after day 2, the refrigerated food was gone. People without stash or camp stoves were eating cold canned beans by candlelight. In more dire disasters like hurricanes, some people actually ate spoiled food and got food poisoning because they had nothing else. Let's prevent that for you. Store at least a week's supply of non-perishable food. Canned goods, soups, beans, tuna, fruit, peanut butter, protein bars, dried fruits, jerky, whatever your family will eat that doesn't require refrigeration. Rotate the stock so it stays fresh. And don't forget a manual can opener. FEMA explicitly lists a can opener in the emergency kit, because a pantry full of cans is useless if you can't open them. I can't tell you how many prepared people have fancy generators, but no manual can opener. Don't be that person stabbing a can with a knife risking injury. Now, how to cook when the stove is dead? Outdoor camping stove or grill. A simple propane camp stove. Coleman, for example, can boil water and cook meals. Keep a couple of propane cylinders on hand. Store them safely. Or a portable butane stove, those single-burner ones caterers use, works great too, but use it with ventilation. If you have a charcoal or gas grill, that's an emergency cooking station as well. Just never bring it indoors carbon monoxide again. In a pinch, even a fireplace or fire pit can heat food, but that's last resort. A small jet boil backpacking stove can boil water in 2 minutes for your freeze-dried emergency meals or a nice cup of coffee. Morale matters in a crisis. I recall a story from a California wildfire outage. A family was cut off for 4 days. They had canned chili and a camp stove. Each night, despite the chaos, they sat at their dark dining table and ate hot meals by lantern light. Chili, canned chicken stew, even pancakes from Just Add Water mix. Next door, a couple had nothing but crackers once their Uber Eats fantasies evaporated. The difference in morale was stark. The family with the camp stove actually said it felt like indoor camping and kept spirits up. The unprepared neighbors looked physically ill from cold beans and stress. Also consider instant coffee, tea bags, electrolyte drink mixes. You may not have your Starbucks, but caffeine and electrolytes can keep you going. Keep a thermos to store hot water, and don't waste fuel. Prioritize foods that heat quickly or can be eaten cold if necessary. If you open your freezer-fridge during an outage, consolidate use. Cook and eat perishables first, safely. A full freezer stays cold approximately 48 hours if unopened. Maybe save some foods. But assume you'll be on canned dry goods after day 2. Being hungry in the dark makes everything 10 times worse. You need calories for energy, warmth, and clear thinking. With a stash of non-perishable foods and a way to heat them, you transform a miserable blackout into an adventurous picnic. Without them, you might be digging through trash for scraps like some did in post-storm chaos. No joke. So stock your pantry like lives depend on it, because they do. You'll either be the family feasting in the blackout or the one starving, your choice. 7. First aid kit and essential medications. A fully stocked first aid bag, like Red Cross kit, is crucial for treating injuries when medical help might be delayed. In a disaster, hospitals can be overwhelmed or unreachable, and pharmacies closed. If someone in your home gets hurt or falls ill during a blackout, you are the first responder. A scraped leg in daylight becomes a dangerous infection by candlelight if not treated. And if you rely on medications, the clock is ticking when fridges and pharmacies are down. This isn't optional. Medical preparedness is life and death. Consider the Jones family during a multi-day outage in New Jersey. On night 2, 8-year-old Lily stepped on broken glass in the dark living room. A bad cut, lots of blood. 911 was inundated and slow due to the storm. The Joneses had no first aid kit. In desperation, they wrapped her foot in an old towel and electrical tape, not exactly sterile. Lily developed a fever from infection by the time they finally reached a doctor. Now contrast that with their neighbors, the Smiths, who had a Red Cross first aid kit and some first aid training. When their teenage son gashed his arm on a fence day 1, they cleaned the wound with antiseptic wipes, applied sterile gauze and pressure, then wrapped it in a bandage. He was protected from infection and healed fine. 2 families, 2 outcomes. The difference was $130 first aid kit and the foresight to have it. Your emergency kit must include a well-stocked first aid kit. At minimum, various bandages, Band-Aids to large dressings, sterile gauze, adhesive tape, antiseptic solution or wipes, antibiotic ointment, tweezers for glass, splinters, scissors, gloves, a thermometer, and pain relievers, acetaminophen, ibuprofen. Include anti-diarrheal meds and antihistamines too. Stress and unusual food can cause issues. If someone in your family has severe allergies, have extra EpiPens. Think of likely injuries. Cuts, burns, candles can cause those. Sprains from stumbling in dark have supplies for all. And a basic first aid manual or printed cheat sheet is smart when Google isn't there to help. Crucial. If anyone needs prescription meds, stock at least a week, preferably 2-4 weeks extra. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about an emergency supply. Insulin for diabetics is a big one. It needs refrigeration. In a long outage, you may need a cooler with ice packs rotated from a generator-powered freezer, or a neighbor's generator. People literally died in Katrina and Maria because they couldn't refrigerate insulin or power oxygen machines. Don't be a statistic plan now. If Aunt May needs an oxygen concentrator, have a backup power source or a tank ready. If Grandpa is on dialysis, have a conversation with the provider about emergency options. Also, keep a list of all family medications and dosages in your documents. We'll cover that, in case you need refills from emergency clinics. FEMA and Red Cross continually stress the importance of first aid and meds in disaster kits. After a disaster, you may be on your own for days. A deep cut could be fatal if it gets infected and there's no quick doctor. Clean and dress wounds immediately. Your kit makes that possible. First aid saves lives. It might be something as routine as a migraine or stomach flu during a blackout. Have painkillers, anti-nausea meds, even electrolyte powders for dehydration. When help is delayed, your kit and knowledge are the bridge that keeps your family safe. Put your first aid kit in an easily accessible place, clearly marked. Make sure everyone in the house knows where it is. Check it yearly and replace expired items. And absolutely include any personal medical necessities, inhalers for asthmatics, glucose and blood pressure monitors if needed, etc. In the chaos of an outage, you don't want to be scrambling for a missing inhaler while your child wheezes. You want to be the calm one saying, "I've got just the thing for that." Because you did your homework, your family will not suffer preventable pain or illness. In an emergency, that confidence and preparedness can literally mean the difference between life and death. 8. Sanitation and hygiene supplies. Here's a horror scenario few think about. It's day 3 of a blackout. The toilet won't flush, electric pump or water outage. Trash is piling up because collection is delayed. You haven't showered. The whole house smells of sweat, garbage, and human waste. This is Public Health 101. In disasters, more people historically die from disease outbreaks, think cholera, dysentery, than from the initial event. Gross? Yes. Real? Absolutely. After disasters like earthquakes and hurricanes, sanitation can break down and make a bad situation lethal, so you'd better have a plan for hygiene when the utilities stop. Let's talk toilets. If water is still running, you can flush manually by pouring water in the bowl, hence why filling a bathtub for extra water is smart for washing and flushing. But if water is out or you're told not to flush, you need an alternative. Enter the portable toilet or bucket loo. Something as simple as a 5-gallon bucket with a tight lid and heavy-duty trash liners can be your emergency toilet. There are products like the luggable loo seat that snap onto a bucket for comfort. You line it, do your business, toss in some cat litter or bleach to control odor, tie up the bag, and store it outside. It's not glamorous. It's survival. In Puerto Rico 2017, many resorted to buckets and digging latrines when plumbing failed. Those who prepared with a porta-potty system maintained dignity and sanitation. Those who didn't got sick or worse. I spoke with a family in Oregon after a 2021 ice storm. They were cut off for a week. By day 4, their 2 toilets were, let's say, unusable. They hadn't thought to have a backup. The teenage son ended up literally digging a small pit in the backyard for the family to use in freezing weather. Morale and sanitation were in the gutter, pun intended. In contrast, a prepper friend of mine in the same storm used his camping toilet and had ample wet wipes, TP, and garbage bags. His family stayed relatively clean and comfortable, no infections, no horrible odors. When power came back, they simply disposed of the sealed waste bags properly. Night and day difference. So, stock up on hygiene essentials. Toilet paper. You know it becomes gold in crises. Trash bags. Lots of them. Heavy duty. Plastic ties. Wet wipes or baby wipes for quick cleaning of body. Priceless when showers aren't an option. Hand sanitizer and liquid soap. Even without running water, you can sanitize hands to stop spread of germs. Feminine hygiene products. Do not overlook this if applicable. Disposable gloves and masks can help for cleaning nasty stuff or if disease is present. Also include basic cleaning agents. Bleach. A small bottle can disinfect surfaces or water 8 drops of unscented bleach can purify a gallon of water in emergency. Detergent and disinfectant spray. Think of the smell of piled garbage. Have zip ties or tape to seal bags and maybe a scented spray. In summer, garbage will attract flies and rats. Double bag it and store it away from living areas. Proper sanitation also means managing waste safely. If you have to store bags of human waste, keep them outside or in a separate covered bin. Lime or bleach can reduce odor and pathogen spread. If you're in the countryside, bury waste at least 8 inches deep and 200 feet from water sources. In the city, you'll have to hold on to it until services resume, so having a designated bin or area is important. Wash your hands diligently after any contact with waste or trash. A mere stomach bug during a disaster can become deadly if medical care is scarce. Remember, after major hurricanes, aid organizations often focus on sanitation supplies to prevent outbreaks. There's a reason. Disease can kill more than the storm itself. It's not pleasant to stock up on toilet alternatives and trash bags, but the alternative is far uglier. In a prolonged outage, you'll be thankful you have a clean, contained way to handle waste and supplies to keep your family as fresh and disease-free as possible. Maintaining hygiene isn't about comfort alone. It's about preventing a second disaster, illness, from piling on. So add sanitation to your must-have list. Because when nature calls during a blackout, you must answer responsibly, or you'll really be in deep trouble. 9. Multi-tool and emergency repair tools. The Leatherman Wave Multi-Tool is a compact toolkit, pliers, knives, screwdrivers that can tackle countless emergency fixes. Narrator. When the power's out and chaos reigns, things will break, jam, or need cutting at the worst times. A window stuck shut, a fallen branch blocking your door, a gas shutoff valve that needs turning, you name it. You won't be able to call the handyman. You are the handyman now. That's why a solid multi-tool and basic emergency tools are absolute must-haves. They say the best tool is the one you have on you. In a blackout, a good multi-tool can be a lifesaver. Picture a windstorm knocks out power and also drops a tree limb onto your roof. It's leaking rain into your attic. One family has nothing but a kitchen knife and duct tape. They stare helplessly as water pours in, causing thousands in damage. Another family? The dad grabs his Leatherman multi-tool, uses the saw blade to cut away branches, then a wrench from his tool bag to tighten a tarp over the hole. Leak stopped. Which outcome do you prefer? I know which one I choose. In another case, a woman smelled gas after an earthquake outage. She quickly used her utility wrench to turn off the gas at the meter. Something every adult in your house should know how to do. FEMA's own checklist includes a wrench or pliers for turning off utilities. That action could prevent your house from blowing up. The neighbor, without a wrench? He just had to evacuate and pray he couldn't shut his gas off. The difference? One simple tool. Start with a quality multi-tool. Leatherman, Gerber, Swiss Army, take your pick. It typically gives you pliers, screwdrivers, knife, saw, can opener, etc. in one device you can carry in your pocket. That covers a lot. Cutting rope or plastic, tightening screws on a loose door hinge, pulling a nail, opening that stubborn battery compartment on your flashlight. Next, have a basic toolkit, a hammer, a set of screwdrivers, an adjustable wrench for plumbing, gas, vice grips, and duct tape. Lots of duct tape. Why duct tape? You can patch a broken window, splint a broken tent pole, even temporarily fix a leaky pipe. Also include a utility knife, razor knife, sharper and sturdier than the small knife on a multi-tool for cutting cardboard, carpet, etc. A small pry bar can help you open stuck doors or lift debris. And don't forget zip ties and some sturdy rope or paracord, great for fastening things together or making an emergency clothesline, you name it. These tools aren't glamorous, but when you need them, you really need them. In extended outages, your home or neighborhood may suffer damage that needs immediate attention. Tarp blown off? Use rope and duct tape to secure it. Nails sticking out of wreckage? Use the hammer or pliers to bend or remove them before someone gets hurt. Need to start a fire? Your knife can shave kindling. Your pliers can hold a pot over flames. Multi-tools even often come with a file. Could be useful to remove rust or sharpen something. I remember after a tornado, a community was clearing roads. Those with chainsaws helped with big logs, but even those with handsaws and multi-tools were cutting smaller branches and clearing debris. Everyone had to pitch in. Your tools enable you to be part of the solution, not just a victim. Keep your tools where you can find them in the dark. A toolbox in the garage is fine, but have at least your multi-tool and a flashlight accessible in your bedroom or wherever you shelter. Also, learn how to turn off your home's water, gas, and electric. If you don't know, find out now. Label the shutoffs. You might need that wrench to turn off a water main if a pipe bursts. No one wants raw sewage backing up. Pro tip: include a fire extinguisher in your tool safety kit. It's technically a safety device, but it's as important as any tool if a small fire ignites. More on that soon. Tools empower you to handle the curveballs a blackout throws. FEMA wasn't kidding listing a wrench, pliers in the top 10 items, because a simple tool at the right moment can save your home or your life. In a crisis, you can't Amazon Prime a toolbox. Have it ready now. You'll either be the person who can jury-rig a fix and save the day, or the person standing uselessly, watching things get worse. I know which one I'd rather be. Gear up and you'll tackle any emergency repair with confidence. 10. Heating and cooling essentials. Extreme weather gear. Power outages love to strike at the worst possible times, during blistering heat waves or bone-chilling winter storms. That's not a coincidence. Those extreme conditions often cause the outages by overloading or damaging the grid. In 2025, regulators warned that huge areas from the Midwest to Texas face elevated blackout risk in extreme heat. And we all remember Texas 2021, days of blackout in freezing temperatures. If you aren't prepared to keep your family safe from extreme cold or heat without power, the consequences can be fatal. Literally, exposure kills. So let's fix that now. Imagine a winter outage, no heat, outside temperatures in the teens. Inside your house, you can see your breath. This was reality for millions in the Texas freeze. Many huddled in cars or burned charcoal grills indoors, leading to CO poisonings. Over 240 people died in that event, many from hypothermia and unsafe heating attempts. But those with proper gear survived relatively comfortably. What do you need? Warmth, without grid power. Start with warm clothing and blankets. Seems obvious, but have you checked if you have enough for everyone? Thermal underwear, wool socks, fleece jackets, stock up. Mylar emergency blankets, those shiny foil ones, are cheap and reflect body heat like a furnace. They can be lifesavers if you run out of normal blankets. A family I know in Kansas endured a 3-day ice storm outage in 10 degrees Fahrenheit weather by camping out together in the living room with a tent set up indoors and Mylar blankets lining it. Their little makeshift igloo kept them warm with body heat, while the house without heat dropped to near freezing. Creativity and supplies saved them. Next, consider an indoor-safe propane heater, like the Mr. Heater Buddy series. These are designed for emergencies. They run on small propane canisters and have safety shutoffs for low oxygen or tipping. They are rated safe for indoor use with ventilation. One of these can keep a room reasonably warm so your family doesn't freeze. Always crack a window and follow instructions, but they are a go-to for many preppers. If you have a wood stove or fireplace, ensure you have wood and that it's in working condition. It can be a primary heat source. Just be very cautious with open flames and never leave them unattended. House fires often spike when people misuse fireplaces or candles during winter outages. Also have a carbon monoxide detector with battery backup in the room if you're using any combustion heater. I'll keep saying it. CO is the silent killer in winter blackouts. And now the flip side, a summer outage in brutal heat. Think it's just uncomfortable? Think again. A study found that if a multi-day blackout hit Phoenix during a heat wave, nearly half the population could need ER care and an estimated 12,800 might die. Heat can kill you faster than cold in some cases. Heat stroke is rapid. So you need cooling options when AC is gone. Battery-powered fans are a must. The breeze can drop perceived temperature significantly. Get a couple of rechargeable fans, USB fans you charged beforehand, or that can run off those power banks we talked about. Cooling towels, those special towels you wet and they cool by evaporation, can bring relief, especially if you wrap one on the neck or head. A spray bottle to mist water on skin can also help, evaporative cooling. If you have a generator, consider powering at least a small window AC or a portable AC in one room to create a cool room refuge. If not, at least run fans and dehumidifiers if you can. Also, never underestimate hydration. Drink plenty of water. You stored it, right? In extreme heat, periodically getting cool water on your skin, like soaking your feet or a quick cool shower if water's working, can dissipate heat from your body. In both cold and heat scenarios, consolidate your family into one space. In winter, everyone bunk in a single small room or even a tent together, body heat and fewer rooms to warm. In summer, find the coolest room, ground floor, north side, shade, or basement, and all camp there. Hang blackout curtains or foil on windows to block sun and heat. In cold, hang blankets over windows to insulate. Use duct tape to seal drafts. These little steps can make a big difference, raising indoor temp a few degrees in winter or dropping it in summer, enough to save lives. During a 2022 heatwave power outage in California, a community opened an improvised cooling center in a library using a backup generator for AC. People who were overheating flocked there. But you might not have a public cooling center available. You must create your own microclimate. One mom in Sacramento kept her kids safe by filling the bathtub with cool water and letting them sit in it periodically to avoid heat stroke. Messy, but it worked. Another family rigged a DIY swamp cooler with a battery fan blowing over a bowl of ice. Ingenuity plus preparation equals survival. Extreme temperatures kill. Preparedness here is absolutely critical. If you live in cold climates, have the gear to stay warm without power. If you live where it's hot, plan to stay cool and never leave vulnerable people alone. Check on elderly neighbors. They often suffer first in heat. We're seeing more extreme weather in 2025 and beyond. Don't assume it's never been that bad. The grid will fail when you need it most. So be ready to keep your family alive and comfortable when outside temperatures become hostile. You don't want to be desperately burning magazines in a trash can to stay warm or watching your child suffer heat exhaustion, wishing you'd prepared. Act now, enjoy later, alive and well. 11. Safety devices, fire extinguishers, alarms, and security. Power outages don't just bring inconvenience, they bring danger from multiple angles. We've touched on fire and carbon monoxide risks throughout, and now we'll hit it head-on. Safety devices. In a blackout, your usual safeguards, like wired smoke alarms or security systems, might not work. Meanwhile, you're using candles, propane, generators, fire risk skyrockets, Colorado risk too. And with lights out, crime can increase under cover of darkness. This item on our list is all about keeping your family safe from secondary disasters that often accompany outages. It's not just one item, but a set of critical safety measures. Fire extinguisher, smoke CO detectors, battery-powered, and personal security provisions. First, fire extinguishers. Have at least one on each floor of your home, and definitely one in the kitchen and near your generator or fireplace if you're using one. In outages, people use candles or kerosene lamps for light, and one accident can start a blaze. You need to be able to put out a small fire immediately. A 5-pound ABC extinguisher, for all fire types, is ideal. Quick story. During a nighttime outage, a New Jersey dad fell asleep with a candle lit. Huge no-no. He woke up to curtains on fire. Because he had a charged fire extinguisher in the hall, he doused the flames and saved the house. No extinguisher? That'd be a headline. Family loses home during blackout due to candle fire. Sadly, it happens often. Remember, 20% of fatal candle fires occur during power losses. So never leave flames unattended, and always have an extinguisher ready. Check it yearly to ensure it's charged. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. These must have battery backup. Modern detectors often are hardwired with battery backup. Ensure yours have fresh batteries or get standalone battery-operated units as redundancy during outages. Test them. We've hammered on CO enough, but here's a chilling stat. After Hurricane Laura, 2020, more than a dozen people died from generator-related CO poisoning in just that one event. The CPSC warns that CO from generators is a leading cause of death in power outages. A $30 CO alarm gives you a fighting chance. Put one near wherever you operate a generator or any flame-based heater. Also, a battery-powered propane natural gas leak detector isn't a bad idea if you use gas lines can leak after disasters. It's all about early warning so you can get out or ventilate. In a blackout, you're distracted and stressed. Alarms have your back when you might not notice danger until it's too late. Now, the human threat. It's sad, but looters and burglars sometimes take advantage of blackouts, knowing alarm systems and cameras might be down and police stretched thin. After Hurricane Sandy in 2012, some neighborhoods in NYC saw looting sprees in the dark. So think about home security in a blackout. Low-tech measures. Reinforce your doors and windows now. Deadbolts, dowels, and sliding tracks. Have a bright flashlight or spotlight ready. Shining a 1,000-lumen flashlight in a prowler's face can be a great deterrent. A loud whistle or air horn can signal neighbors and scare off intruders. Some folks choose to own firearms for home defense. If that's you, ensure you're trained and safely store them. Non-lethal options like pepper spray or a stout baseball bat by the bed can provide peace of mind too. The key is to have a plan. Who in your family will do what if someone tries to break in during an outage? Perhaps you organize a neighborhood watch for extended blackouts, safety in numbers. Also, consider motion sensor battery lights or solar-powered security lights. These can light up automatically if someone approaches your property, even with no grid power. Criminals hate light and attention. Even placing inexpensive solar garden lights around your house provides a bit of illumination to dissuade intruders and help you walk around safely at night. Remember, when the entire block is dark, even a little light at your place stands out, potentially deterring thieves and also guiding you if you have to move around outside. One more safety angle: community communication. Have walkie-talkies or at least know your neighbors. In an extended outage, communities that band together fare much better against both environmental and human threats. Share phone numbers or use whistles to alert each other of trouble. In some areas, people set up neighborhood patrols after day 2 of no power to prevent looting. It's sad we have to think that way, but reality can get ugly fast in long outages. 12. Important documents and backup cache, secure storage. In the panic of a disaster, after ensuring life and limb are safe, there's another category of loss that can turn your world upside down: your identity and vital records. Imagine your house is damaged by fire during a blackout, or you have to evacuate suddenly due to a wildfires or flood. Power outages often coincide with these. If you lose all your important papers, IDs, passports, deeds, insurance policies, you'll be in a world of hurt trying to get assistance or file claims. That's why document security is our final must-have. And we're pairing it with cold hard cash, because when the power's out, credit cards are just plastic. Let me paint a scenario from Hurricane Katrina's aftermath. Many evacuees fled with just the clothes on their back. When they reached shelters or aid stations, they had no ID, no proof of home ownership for insurance, nothing. Replacing all that took months or years, delaying their recovery. Don't let that be you. In a more recent example, during the California wildfires, often accompanied by precautionary power shutoffs, a family I know had a go-bag with all their important documents in a fireproof folder. When they had 5 minutes to leave, they grabbed it and later easily proved to FEMA and insurance who they were and what they lost. Their neighbor? All his records turned to ash, and proving his claims became a nightmare of red tape. Preparedness here can literally mean getting tens of thousands of dollars faster in disaster aid or nothing at all for a long time. Secure your vital documents. Get a fireproof and waterproof safe or document bag. They're not very expensive and can protect contents in a fire for some time and from water damage. In it, keep physical copies of driver's licenses, passports, birth certificates, social security cards, property deeds or leases, insurance policies, home, auto, life, health, wills, medical records, especially immunizations or critical health info, and a list of important account numbers/contact numbers, bank accounts, credit cards, utilities. Also include recent family photos, in case someone goes missing or for ID. And don't forget pet records, vaccinations, proof of ownership. If you have pets, shelters often require those. Store digital backups too. Scan everything onto an encrypted USB drive or secure cloud storage. But remember, if internet and power are down, that physical copy in your hand is king. Now, cash money. In a widespread outage, ATMs won't work, card readers go down, banks close. If you need to buy gas from a station running on generator or food from a small store, they may insist on cash only. After Hurricane Sandy, people with cash could buy essentials from the few shops open on generator power. Those without cash were out of luck or dependent on charity. I recommend keeping a stash of emergency cash in small bills. Think $100, $100, $300 per person if possible, in $20s, $10s, $5s, and some $1s. Store it in your safe or document bag. This isn't your fun money. It's strictly for crisis needs. You might need to pay someone for a tow, buy batteries from a roadside stand, or pay a neighbor for fuel. Cash talks when nothing else does. We saw price gouging after some disasters. Cash still got what was needed. It's not fair, but it's reality. Be the one who can slap down a $20 to get that last pack of bottled water if necessary. In your document kit, also have a list of emergency contacts, family, doctors, insurance claims numbers, etc., written down. If your phone dies or networks fail, a paper list is invaluable. Keep some postage stamps and envelopes too. Weird as it sounds, if phones are out long-term, Old-fashioned mail might be a way to reach someone outside the affected area. A document safe is also a good place for small, irreplaceable items, maybe family heirloom jewelry or backup of precious photos, on a flash drive or a small album. Essentially, this kit is what you'd want to grab if you had to flee your house forever. Even in a stay-at-home outage, it's protection from secondary disasters like fires. Hurricane Maria's aftermath taught many that having copies of documents drastically improved access to aid. Aid workers can help faster if you know your policy numbers, Idaho, etc. In the middle of an outage crisis, you're not going to be thinking about your birth certificate, you'll be busy surviving. But after the initial crisis, when power returns or you relocate, having all your life's key paperwork intact will make recovery so much smoother. Think of document prep as a gift to your future self, and cash as a bridge to get through the worst. Secure them now, in advance. Because if your house burns or floods in a disaster and those papers are gone, the stress of rebuilding your life multiplies tenfold. We're trying to avoid regret here, regretting that you didn't spend an hour making copies and packing a safe. Do it this week. You'll either emerge from the next catastrophe with your identity, finances, and proof of everything secure, or you'll be standing in line at government offices for months to replace lost IDs and arguing with insurance. Easy choice, right? Get that safe, fill it with docs and cash, and sleep easier. You've now seen the 12 must-have items that separate those who suffer from those who sail through the next power outage. This isn't fantasy or maybe someday stuff. This is real. Blackouts are becoming more frequent, more prolonged, and more dangerous each year. You can either face that reality head-on, prepared and protected, or bury your head in the sand and hope it never happens to you. But hope won't keep your children warm in a blizzard when the heat goes out. Hope won't cook your food or filter your water. And hope sure as hell won't put out a fire or save your life in an emergency. Action will. So I'm talking to you, yes, you watching this. Take this seriously. Right now, while it's fresh, make a plan to get these items. Check off what you have and acquire what you don't. Don't procrastinate. Disasters give no advance notice. Think of the people in this documentary. Those who were prepared and those who weren't. Which will you be when the next outage strikes? Will you be the family calmly cooking on a camp stove, radio on, light glowing, kids safe? Or the one panicking in the cold dark saying, "I wish I had"? Every item on this list is a simple step towards survival, comfort, and peace of mind. None of them are frivolous. When the power grid fails and America goes dark, these are the tools and supplies that turn you from a victim into a survivor.